We have a game to talk about. Holy moly. Aren't sports fun? This had everything. Upsets, happiness, clapping, crying. Let's go. Pacers stun the Knicks. Game 1 at the Garden, 138-135. OT, Haliburton with 31 heroic moments. Nesmith, come on down. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Brunson finished with 43, Cat with 35. But the gods of basketball gave us something really special last night. The comeback from being down 17 in the fourth quarter, down 9 with 51 seconds left. Can we agree? We'll start with you. This is the best game of the playoffs so far.
Yeah, this is one of the best games I've ever seen. Like, this was insane. It gave us a little bit of everything. Got a new camera over here. I was so ready to come in here and talk about how the Knicks were so good without Brunson when he got in foul trouble. And then Aaron Nesmith just goes absolute bananas. This wouldn't even have been possible without him catching absolute fire, hitting those 5 threes.
8 of 9.
Also, a lot of mental lapses defensively from the Knicks. Like, they didn't switch up. They're tripping, they're falling. They don't put a guy on the ball in the OB top, which should have been an and one. So as good as, you know, the Pacers stuck with it and showed resiliency, man, the Knicks just smoked this with making mistake after mistake defensively, and then not taking care of the ball. They had bad turnovers. They didn't make their free throws. Like, everything bad that could have happened, and everything we thought was going to happen didn't happen. This was an unbelievable game, so much fun. The toe on the line was ridiculous. Like, the celebration, everything about it was just pure gold.
I just want to know, does Rick Carlisle, like, only practice end of games, like, down 11? Because this is who the Pacers are, right? First round against Milwaukee, then against Cleveland, and now against New York. Like, this is remarkable. Like, this game had you at the edge of your seat the whole time. And then, speaking of the fourth quarter, I was like, oh, this game is over. And then I'm like, oh, my God, it's going into overtime. And then they end up winning. This one is one for the ages, for sure.
They damn near turned it off.
No, I had to apologize to neighbors. I was screaming. I was like, I don't even have a team in this. But this is everything you want as a sports fan in general. Like, it had all the drama you could possibly have. If you're a mean person, like some of us are, you like when fans are sad and crying when they leave a game. We had that as well. Lou, what'd you think?
I thought it was a great game. I thought the atmosphere was fun. Had fireworks. Listen, these guys made shot at, well, listen, 2 guys made shot at the shot. 2 guys did. Nesmith and Holly threw in 1 out of the 5 or the 6 that he made. But, you know, that's what you need. You can go to other guys that can help you win a basketball game, and your closers are going to close. Those guys are going to bring you to the finish line. That's what you like to see in your team if you're Indiana. The Knicks are going to have to figure it out from there. This is a game that they truly smoked. You know, a lot of times, you know, we say, well, did they choke or did they give it away? No, this was a choke job. Yeah. You know, you make your free throws. We're having a different conversation today. They didn't finish their breakfast, and Indiana was able to get a big win from it.
Well, Lou, I want to stay with you because you are our Indiana guy. And you can pick any stat you want. There's a plethora of them. The analytics on this one were basically all Knicks as this game went on, and then they failed not once but twice. What do you think about that?
Again, you don't listen. I'm a fan of not giving away anything. So that's always been an argument for me. You know, do you foul? Do you do this and that? Here's the thing with me. If I'm up 3, I've did the work already. I can get another stop, right? And even if you look at this one, these guys start fouling with 13.9 on the clock. You know, that's closer to 14 seconds than 13 seconds. And so when you put yourself in that position, I'm thinking, well, this is a 3-possession game if you're going to start fouling at 14. This puts pressure on the New York Knicks to make free throws. What happens? OG walks up to the line, he makes 1 of 2. Cat walks up to the line, makes 1 of 2. That puts them in a position to even make this possible. Now you got 7 seconds with Holly with the ball going down the court. You know, you just put yourself in a lot of different positions when you do this foul thing. So last night it worked out, and then we saw them go down on the defensive end, not foul. New York misses 2 threes in a row. I don't know. Analytics are all over the place. I've never been a fan of donating 2 free throws because, again, that puts me in a position where the pressure is on me to win a basketball game, and it backfired on the New York Knicks last night. So I look like a genius again.
I'll tell you this: foul or don't foul, that's, you know, I think that's up to the coach or whatever his philosophy is. But you have to save a challenge, I think, is what coaches are. The fact that they use it early on just like a possession is so silly to me, because that one play with OG and Siakam there, that is the game. If they don't have a challenge left, they stick with the ball. Pacers don't get the ball back. That's quite possibly the game. So I think moving forward, it's pretty obvious. But the coaches have to at least save a challenge for something like that. That is such a big, monumental point of the game.
I am shocked when that doesn't
happen. You use it early to like save like Jalen Brunson's 4th foul or something like that. That makes sense. But when they do it on like the second play of the game for like a jump ball, I'm like, what are we doing?
Because you know what it is? every single play that doesn't go a player's way, he's running over there and he's doing this. And as a coach, you kind of have to. He's glitching. As a coach, you have to stand in solidarity with your players sometimes, especially if it's your star. If your star player's running over there doing this, you got to take a look at it. And that's what puts some of these coaches in the trick bag. Every single play, guys want it to be reviewed. It's okay. Every play is not going to go your way. The referees aren't perfect, especially if these aren't game-changing plays early on. Let it go and keep playing. I saw visually one last night. Carlisle's literally telling his guys, play basketball, get back, because they're all standing there doing this as the Knicks are taking the basketball out. Like, we got to get that part out of it. But again,
when Nembhard did it because it went off Brunson,
and he was right.
That was big. So
he was right. But I agree with Chandler. You keep wanting
you have to save one. But again, like Lou said, if I'm Rick Carlisle and Haliburton, my main guy is telling me to take a look at it, like, it's hard for me not to trust the guy that I trust with the ball in his hand.
And we lie.
Yeah. Emotional challenges, we call them. Like, oh, that wasn't up, but it was.
But it was. You knew it was, and now you're wasting everyone's time. All right, George, you're up first on this one, because 0 and 970, that was the former stat in playoffs over the last 27 years, that if a team's trailing by 14 or more points with 2:50 left, boom, that's it. And here we are. Biggest playoff choke job. And we just came off of a series with Boston.
You said 970?
0 and 970.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to cause any controversy. Lou's trying to get us to go viral today, but that was possibly one of the bigger choke jobs.
I mean, Boston just lost twice when they were 20 points up, and I've already forgotten that.
How about this? 0 and 1,414, up 9 in the final minute of the fourth. Like, there's so many crazy stats like that. 0 and 1,414.
Yeah, that was unreal.
What?
And if you put that picture of Tyrese Haliburton next to it, I guess that is what it is. I mean, like I said before, the Pacers are showing us you're not safe being up 10 with a minute, 2 minute, 45 seconds. Like, they find a way to just
play to the buzzer.
Oh my God, it's almost like an AAU team, right? You know, they're just pressuring full court at the end, and you better know what you're doing at the end of the game to seal the game, because they are confident.
And they don't go for ties.
No.
Like Holly,
they go for the jugular.
He could have shot that mid-range.
Big kahunas running back, trying to get behind the three. I said to my cousin Vic last night, I said he was an inch away from being a legend.
Dude.
Running back to the three-point line, getting the bounce, and having the wherewithal to say in the guard.
Wow.
At first he pointed, I thought Spike Lee was in the building, but he's in cons. But I thought I said, yo, he found Spike.
No.
This is iconic. He was an inch away from being an icon. Great moment.
I mean, still kind of, though. Still worked.
Still there because they won the game.
Luckily,
still there.
Because let's talk about that. Anybody else here get real uncomfortable when they deemed it a 2 and you went, oh no, he celebrated way too early?
You know what? It would have been uncomfortable if the T didn't get the shot off. Like, you know what I mean? That would have been uncomfortable.
I mean, the bounce is Hollywood.
He still tied it up. He still took it
to even
overtime.
get the tie with like, being down double digits is unreal.
And also, instead of dribbling back, Miles Turner was wide open when he was in the paint. So this is by the way, he's done this time after time all season long in the playoffs. So they are comfortable. Like Georgie said too.
Look,
they
are comfortable. He goes into this immediately.
Oh, yeah, he planned that.
He was doing this in the mirror before pregame.
There was a whole skit and shoot around. Like right now, look at Miles Turner is wide open too, but he wanted the shot. He's made these shots in the playoffs this year. And again, like George said, the Pacers are comfortable being down. They never give up. They're resilient. They just keep playing to that final horn. And this has happened multiple times.
These are signs. We got to start paying attention to the Indiana Pacers and these signs. History keeps repeating itself. We were talking about Obi Toppin, the 40-year anniversary of the Dr. J thing. Like, how crazy is that to do that on the day?
I see what you're doing.
And now you're the Indiana Pacers back in the Garden, and you got an opportunity for Haliburton to get you an updated choke job for Reggie Miller.
With Reggie Miller in the house doing the broadcast.
Amazing.
And by the way, they got a big game from Nesmith. They got a big game from Tyrese Haliburton, but they didn't even play their best, too, which is scary for New York because they were down. They did a lot of mental lapses, too, defensively, not switching, not blitzing Jalen Brunson, let Jalen Brunson kind of do what he wanted to do all game long. So they have so many things that they can clean up and be better, and still to be up 1-0 is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
I think Reggie Miller said it because they were swarming with the final minutes as this thing winds down. And he's like, where was this for the first 40 minutes of the game? Like, it felt panic.
Well, they were trading baskets.
Yeah.
And this team, they got to get stops and they got to be able to run out. They love to play in the transition. They gotta have easy baskets, and they were just trading baskets. They couldn't get stops. You know, even after the first quarter, it's 34-35. In order for them to be successful against New York, they got to be able to run. If you're going to get into a match where you're going to play half-court basketball, it's going to sway New York's way. Last 2 minutes of the game, Nesmith, he starts to heat up. Now you get an opportunity to kind of play the style of basketball you want to play. And they had some luck on their side again. Guys smoked two out of 4 free throws at the end to give them a shot.
Well, fun part is John Haliburton, who got a monster shout out from Charles Barkley, who pleads with Adam Silver to let him back in. There he is. He was having a time last night, guys.
Yeah, can you imagine where he'd be on the court if this happened?
Oh, he can't do that in New York.
Team Morant, LeVar Ball.
I love it.
I love all the dads.
Look, he has a real news crew with him in there.
He just walks around with that towel thing, huh? That's something.
He'll have a podcast next year.
You think he's going to be allowed in Game 3? They're going to allow him back in the building?
No, he's done.
I mean, Barkley looked into the camera and pled with Adam Silver. Let's let him back in.
He'll be in the building. Now, I don't think he'll be in those floor seats, but he'll be in the building, little mustache.
And didn't Tyrese give
Bobby
the guy that got
Valentine?
hit with the trash bag his dad's tickets to last game?
Was it his dad's ticket?
Yeah,
Oh, that
apparently
makes
Tyrese
sense.
gave, the dude that was getting peppered with trash.
I think that's game 4.
Tyrese gave his dad those tickets, which was also really cool.
So many things happening right now. So yes, the storyline has been he's the most overrated player as voted on by colleagues. Obviously, he's gone from that to completely the opposite, most underrated player, perhaps. If you didn't know who he was, I guess people, and he's your guy, George, this has been one introduction to Tyrese Haliburton after another in these playoffs.
Yeah, I said it yesterday. 26-2 Eastern Conference Finals appearance. He's leading a team that people said was going to lose to Milwaukee 2 years in a row. And I think he's just instrumental in this team's success, right? He makes pretty much the perfect play every time down. Sure, Chandler was talking about he doesn't get you 50, he doesn't do this, but he wins. And at the end of the day, I think that's the only thing that really matters.
Yeah, 100%. And he's a perfect guard for a Rick Carlisle offense, up and down, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of two-man action. And again, there's nothing wrong with being like a pure point guard. There's nothing. We just look across the league and everybody, all these point guards are such dynamic, elite scorers where we expect the Kyries and the Dame to 40, 50-point games. That's not necessarily Tyrese Haliburton's game. He's a pure pass-first guy that makes everyone around him better, doesn't turn the ball over, and he's usually very efficient, and that usually translates to winning basketball. So again, not many people thought the Pacers were going to be here, and they are here because of that dude.
But he makes big shots, Lou. We got to admit that. Tyrese Haliburton makes really big
Makes big shots. Makes big shots. Listen, and I was wrong about Indiana for lack of watching them this season. But now that they're on this main stage, this is a really entertaining basketball team, and they can beat you in a lot of different ways. And when you got a guy that knows how to close games, not afraid of the big shots, not afraid of the big moment in Holly, you're going to have an opportunity to win any game. As you can see, you're never safe with Indiana.
And by the way, they're balanced. Their bench has been great. Obi Toppin, I feel like, has taken that next level of his finishing. And he's used to just be kind of a freak athlete, right?
Yeah.
Now he's playing through the post. Now he's getting guys involved. He's making shots. TJ McConnell's just a pest nonstop that's kind of doing his type of thing. Matherin's always been a great scorer, so they have this collective effort. They all defend, they all play hard, and they can all shoot it.
Let's go Nesmith on this, because it just felt like I was watching a movie at one point. Not only did he have the shots, he was 5 of 5 from 3 in that final stretch of this game, which was what kept them in this. He also had to guard Brunson pretty much the entire time. He's everywhere on the court. I don't know how he has all that energy. All-time role player performance, Lou. What'd you think?
This goes up there fast. This is a big stage. And for him to shoot the ball the way that he did and defend at the same time, you got to give him a lot of credit. Like, he went out and won this basketball game. Yeah, all five guys on the starting lineup, they were in double figures. But this guy went out and got a 30, 20 of them in the fourth quarter. And look how he's doing it, in fashion. These are contested shots.
Wow.
These are contests. None of these are easy. So for him to go out there and give it everything that he had on both ends of the floor, he's turned himself into the X factor. He's definitely going to be a bigger part of Game 2 moving forward. He's earned himself a spot in the scout now. He's going to be guarded different, and that's going to open up lanes for other guys. When you have to adjust your game plan for one of your role players, that's going to open it up for a Siakam, a Miles Turner, for a Holly, and so that's what makes them dangerous. Nembhard is another guy that's going to open up for. So when you have somebody that can play like this on both ends and shoot the basketball, it gives you a great opportunity moving forward.
Yeah, and he made it difficult for Jalen Brunson. You look at the box score, Jalen Brunson still had 43 points in 37 minutes. Like, he was still unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I didn't overdo it on the defensive end.
But he's still bothering.
He had 7 turnovers. He forced him. He hurried him a little bit. Again, he frustrated them with not getting some of those foul calls. There was one play where Jalen Brunson literally took his hand and hit him in the face with it. Didn't get the call. Jalen Brunson is unbelievable at flopping and getting these calls, but he did make it difficult. He's physical, and again, to have that kind of condition and stamina to guard Jalen Brunson for 37 minutes basically and go and knock down the shots, he is the reason they won this game. Without those threes, we're talking here today how good Jalen Brunson played and how clutch he was and the big shots he hit. So just because he caught fire is the entire reason why the Pacers won.
It was unreal to watch that. All right, the room got real quiet real fast and got a little bit awkward, George. Does it take the air out of the Garden for the next one?
I'm not sure. I think, New York's backs are definitely up against the wall. The Garden is going to be electric on Game 2. Just for the simple fact that, like we talked about yesterday, the Pacers came in and did their job. They got one game. So I hope there's no, relax effect, but New York is going to have their antennas up because you go down 0-2 going to Indiana. I mean, that's a real uphill battle you do not want to be a part of. And you saw that when they were up 2-0 going back to New York against the Celtics. So I think they realize what's at stake, and I don't expect the energy in the Garden to be any lower than it was.
I agree with George. The Garden is going to be electric, but like he also said, Indiana's done their job. Now you got a team that's playing with house money. They're going to be out there free. They're going to be relaxed. They feel confident going. Can you imagine the confidence level going into Game 2? So New York is going to have some work to do, And listen, Indiana won this game, but New York tried to give this game away a few opportunities. Brunson getting trapped at half court. He was trapped in the corner, almost throwing the ball away. Josh Hart slipping, almost throwing the ball away again. There's a lot of things that they got to shore up to give them a chance to win Game 2, to go into Indiana tied up. If not, they're looking at a completely different series moving forward.
Yeah, the Knicks clearly did enough to win this game. Then they had some letdowns. They had some mental mistakes. They had some defensive breakdowns. But listen, Towns was great. Brunson was great. OG was great stepping up when Brunson went out. Deuce McBride was a plus 20. They got production from Mitchell Robinson. So there are some positives to look at this if you're the Knicks. But like Lou said, man, if I'm the Pacers, I'm up 1-0. I'm playing as confident as I could possibly imagine going into Game 2. And they're used to that crowd. They know that crowd. It's going to be electric. But that's a 1-8-0 run to start the Game 2 off to stifling that crowd.
They didn't rename the streets in Indianapolis, did they? After the team? Because I wouldn't do that. I don't think the sports gods like you doing that for the conference finals. That might be part of this. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Lou will get to gloat about his guy and the MVP award when we return.
Run it back, run it up.